Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a deadlift day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos. Please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. So when I pulled this 495 off the deficit, I thought I could get 600. Went in to pull the 600, it exploded off the floor. I could not get through the transition point past the mid-knee. I just lost my steam and dropped it. And when I look at that, I'm looking out. I came back before I did my supplemental work, and I watched it in slow motion. And notice I'm good, stops. Notice see that mid-shin area I was fast. It's that transition, and really, I just need more hip extension strength. I need more glute work. Now, I just pulled 615 the other day successfully, but that was not off of a deficit. And you notice it was a little sticky through that same point. So, I had to look at this and go historically, at what point in my training did I not have that sticking point, pulling over 600, when I was doing glute bridges. So these were not easy to really get set up even on this platform. So kind of finding my sweet spot for setting up is a bit difficult. But I just did 495 and did 3 sets of 8. They lit up my entire posterior chain, and it felt different than the other movements I'm doing. So I think what I need to do, I'm going to work on these for a bit. I'm going to work them into the rotation. Normally in a slot, I would probably have something like good mornings. I want to do some glute bridges again. And I want to see if what happens is it goes back to when I was pulling over 600 and doing all these glute bridges, and I was stronger at them than I am now. Okay. I haven't done these in forever. So I'm surprised I could even work with this weight, but we could. But what was I doing, when I was pulling 600 plus without that problem? What was going on? What was happening with my training? Well, I was doing 5 sets of 10 with those, I think with like 535. So just a little bit stronger. All right, so that's where we need to go. Also, in keeping with what I said I would do, I'm going to be doing the belt squats, hands-free, both workouts again. I need the quads. We could really talk about the glutes involved there too. Talk about that. But I felt a lot of hamstring also on those glute bridges. So that handles a good chunk of my hamstring work. Because I can only handle many of these GHRs. I started getting the cramping coming back just a little bit again. And I want to be careful of that. But I still don't want to cut these out. So I'm looking at it going, well, how much do I really need? I could do 1 set of these as part of the workout and still get the benefits, because we already got some good hamstring work from the glute bridges. All right. So in my supersets with the belt squats, I did these. And I think since I'm going to do glute bridges, belt squats, we can get away with 3 sets, and I'm just going to work on progressing on these. So I started with that weight, then I went up 30 pounds and did sets of 6s for my last 2 sets. So I think just treating it like a lot of my other movements, I'm just going to try to progress on these. I just want to get stronger and stronger. I'm going to do 3 sets, both workouts. I don't need to take it out to 5. Not the way I do my benching. And just focus on progression. Focus on progression on the glute bridges and on the belt squats. So 3 sets of them. That's really, I find, if we really want to push progression right, 3 sets works really, really well on exercises. Plus, I'm keeping my volume moderated. The thing that I'm finding as I get older, slightly lower volumes does better for me. I recover better, I do better, and my volumes are still pretty high. Like, I talk about reduced volumes, but most people look at my training and go, it's still pretty high volume. And you're talking about on a leg day, still doing 3 sets of belt squats, 3 sets of glute bridges, 5 sets of reverse hypers, and then a little bit of other minor stuff in there. That's a lot. Especially done twice a week. If it was once a week, not so much. And so that is absolutely true. As if we do the math on it, I think glute bridges do count as a quad exercise. Not as much as a squatting type movement, but they do work quads. I've always felt my quads on them. Biomechanically, they work quads in the lengthened position. They're only a partial, but it's in the lengthened position. And the belt squat, so what do we get? 6 sets twice a week, that would be 12 sets for quads. That's about where I was for quad work when I hit that 600 squat. It was high, granted it was high, but we're in that sweet spot range, aren't we? We're in that sweet spot range, that 10 to 12 per week. And what about hamstring work? What would we get today? I don't know, do we want to count reverse hypers as hamstrings? I mean, in theory, they should. In theory, they should. So if we do count them, would we get 11 sets for hamstrings today? This is not counting the maxes. How about glutes? Everything worked the glutes. Right? All of these work the glutes. And we hit the glutes at quite a few different angles. This is a very glute dominant workout. I think that's a good place to be. You know, it's a very good place to be. And I could arguably remove the glute ham raises, because if again we start looking at all that volume, we still got 8 sets for hamstrings twice a week. Again, this is still very glute and hamstring dominant. You know, and it comes down to how much do we want to count the reverse hypers. And that's something I do see a lot of people point out when they mention that. When we're talking about that 10 to 20 sets a week, that includes your big exercises and trickle over. Meaning bench press still counts as a tricep. It still counts as a front delt. I think we could argue potentially a little bit of side delt, not much. Same with our rowing, rows at side delts. Maybe not as hard as the lateral. But you see where we're going with the math. This is our optimal range. This is what most of the studies find to be optimal, even for advanced lifters. And we're not talking about untrained people. We're talking about studies on people with several years of hard training experience. So we get into that question of, do we need more? I'm not saying I haven't made gains doing more. I'm known for doing quite a bit of volume. But I don't find that my gains are any better. I don't find that it's any better when the volume goes up higher. All right, so we did all that, and then of course I finished up with the leg extensions for quads, with the bands, which I do for tendon health, which we've covered in the last couple of videos. I've explained in detail why we do that, all right, why it's advantageous, what the benefits are. And I went up in weight on these. I went from the single blue to a red on each leg, and got right about 80 total reps. And my quads were just giving out. That's all they had. But overall, I'm happy with this workout. I think it's going to help with the weak points. I think it's going to help me with where I missed that deadlift. And every now and then I need to miss a lift just to see where I'm at, to find those weak links. But I got that weight off the floor moving pretty good. So it tells us where we're weak at. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.